Hey man, KD Bo here reminding you that the next Man Up Live is Saturday, July 20th from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. But why should you come? Well, according to the research, human beings were made for connection. And if we don't connect, it could literally make us sick. Hey man, you were never designed to go alone. I know you're strong, I believe it, but you were never designed to do this thing by yourself. So come out and connect with a few good men. Saturday, July 20th at New Life Community Center in Decatur. Looking forward to meeting you. All the info is on our website, mypraiseatl.com. What's up? It's KD Bo Show in the studio. I don't know why I shake my head like that. You know, it's real deep, feels real deep and spiritual. In the studio with a titan of a man. I'm just meeting you, so I'm really excited about this conversation.
Yes, sir.
He's my Nigerian brother. Man, I might be from Nigeria. I don't even know.
So. You might be. You got some of the features.
Obi Ndu. Say your full name, though.
Obi Ndu.
Obi Ndu.
Yes. That's how you probably pronounce it. You did good, bro.
I told you Nigeria. I told you. So, okay,
we won't tell nobody.
Hey, there we go. Hey. So you are a relationship expert.
Yes, sir.
And I always get excited about relationships because I think that they are the crux of our success.
Mm-hmm.
It's all about the community that you have.
Yes, sir.
The circle that you surround yourself with.
Yeah.
That makes it all important.
Yeah.
So when your talent fades, when your money ain't really there like you want it to be,
mm-hmm.
okay, when you don't have enough status,
mm-hmm.
per se,
mm-hmm.
the relationships that you built across the years
mm-hmm.
are the things that are long-lasting. I've gotten jobs and gigs and things where it hasn't just been about my talent. There are more talented people. It was the relationship.
Right.
So you being a relationship expert,
yeah.
Your thoughts about relationships as far as the most important thing, the least important thing, what is it?
Well, I mean, if I could, I would say I think it all comes down to relationships. You did a great job of explaining that. And I like to answer that question kind of like a little story. A mango tree, right? As a matter of fact, can you play along with me?
Yeah.
Mango tree. You go to mango tree. It's got some beautiful, sweet mango. You grab the mango. What do you do to the mango tree after you grab the mango?
Nothing.
Yeah, you turn your back on it.
Yeah.
So you went to the tree for its gifts, not for it. And so a lot of times as people, we have folks in our lives, think about these stars, movie stars, actors, singers, and they think that, that people are coming to them for them. No, they're coming to you for your gifts. They don't care about you.
Right.
And so the people who care about the mango tree, those are the ones the mango tree needs to hold close. So it's all about relationships, but it's about distinguishing those relationships too, because some people are there. Most people are there for your blessing that you're going to give them, that you're going to impart on their life. But who are the people that are there just for you? Whether you produce another mango or not, they're going to stay.
I think that's good. So how do we position ourselves so that people can care about our tree and not just our fruit? I've never asked that question, but that's a good one to ask you because you're an expert.
I don't know if I've been asked that question, but it was good, though.
Yeah, but just to think about it, I never thought about it like that.
Yeah. I mean, I think the best way to answer that is really that it's about kind of like the way my wife and I approach our marriage. Most people approach the marriage from a selfish space in that I'm here to get my needs met. No, that's not the right way to do it. That's wrong. I'm here to meet your needs for life, and you're here to meet mine for life. And I remember, I'll never forget, I had a conversation with a buddy of mine, and we were talking about this. Imagine if a married couple or anybody you're in a relationship with, you have really long arms, right? Say it's like, it look like a fork, and it's about, 2-3 feet. So you can't turn and feed yourself because it's too long. So what happens then? So I must use that hand to feed you, and yours is too long to feed yourself, so you got to use it to feed me. So that's the deal. That's the best way to do that, is to make sure you take care of that person, and of course they'll reciprocate.
But we care about ourselves.
Yeah.
I don't want to say more than we do other people, but that's probably not politically correct, but we do. Right. It's about self-preservation. Yeah. I want to make sure that I'm good. So I want to surround myself with people that are going to make sure that I'm good. I always say it like this, many times it relates to men in general. By and large, we have a culture that doesn't really care about men when they are in need.
Yeah.
We have a culture that cares about men when they are at the top, when they can help, when they're strong. We don't really care about or do stuff for men, or there's not a whole lot of programs and systems in place for men when they are in need.
Right.
Okay, so when you talk about relationships, I got to go back to this question, man. How do you make yourself stand out outside of what you can do for somebody?
So I think that one of the best ways to approach that really is it's about let me put it this way. How can I work on me for you? You understand? Right? Because it's not, some people say, well, I'm going to go to the job and I'm just going to do more, right? Well, how about you work more on yourself than you do on that job, right? Because then by default, whoever your supervisor or whoever is going to now move you up the ladder because you've gotten better. I had a way that I would share this a lot just to keep it simple. If I have 4 hours to chop a tree down, I would spend 3 sharpening the axe and only 1 on the tree.
That's right.
So that's the best approach, man. I mean, it's really about, and when you talk about self-preservation, that's what it should be. It's about self-development. It's about growing as an individual. And then by default, you're a better father. You're a better husband. You're a better friend. You're a better brother. It's about what you put inside of you.
That's good. That's good, Obi. Okay, now I get it. I get it. So basically what I got from what you said is you have to make sure that you are good for the purposes of not what you get, but the seeds that you sow.
That's right.
And so when you sow the goodness of you as seeds into people, then you'll reap the benefits.
Exactly.
You'll reap the harvest. Come on.
Man.
That's pound. Hey! I must be Nigerian. I felt something right there like a wonder twin.
I think we related, bro.
Hey, man, so this is good. So about the relationship piece of it, I want to make sure that I am a seed and I am giving myself to someone for the purposes of, I guess, self-preservation, but not in a selfish way, but because I am a gift going somewhere to be given.
Exactly.
So as a relationship expert, tell me, I have my thoughts about this, but tell me where you see forgiveness as it fits in that. Because for me, I'll set it up.
Yeah.
I didn't have the best success in my relationships until I first forgave my father.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
But go there. I can go a long ways, but tell me about that.
Brother, I think you nailed it, man.
Wow.
I think a lot of times we misinterpret forgiveness. We make it about that person. But here's the thing, forgiveness doesn't make them right. It just makes you free.
Say it again.
I say forgiveness does not make them right. It makes you free.
Wow.
Right? So forgiveness is not even about that person. You see how it keeps coming back to you?
Yeah.
Back to you? It's the man in the mirror. Yeah. And so even the same thing with my brother. My dad physically abused my mom for 13 years, and then they parted ways, and then he went back to Nigeria. He fled, abandoned us here. We literally lived in the projects as a result of it. I go down this whole long story. But here's the deal. My brother never forgot this one day. Him and my father and my mom were fighting, and my dad threw a table across the room, a little side table, and it broke right in front of my brother's face on the wall. So he picked up the leg of the table and kept this thing. Now, I'm 43. My little brother's 38. And he kept this table. Now, my father, we haven't seen him for almost 30 years. Long story short, everybody's trying to get my little brother to go to Nigeria so we can see him and forgive and put this thing behind us. Okay. My brother didn't do it. He didn't want to do it. This is what God put in my heart to tell him. I said, listen, he has a little son, my nephew, Reggie. I said, consider for a moment that there is something that you need to give Reggie, but you will never be able to give it to him because you haven't gotten it from our Father. Until you forgive him, there's a piece of you that you will never hand down to your son.
Wow, man.
Forgiveness is about us being free.
So, okay, I really could just stop right there because that's so cold, man. That's so cold.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. It's true.
So the point, so you can't hold a man or a woman at the point of their offense without you staying there as well.
That's right.
So I noticed that in every area of my life where there was no growth, most of the time, whether it was unforgiveness of me, unforgiveness of my father or other people, I did not grow in that area.
That's right.
So when you hold a person at the point of their offense, you can't grow either.
That's right.
And so in certain areas, I couldn't be a better husband. I couldn't be a better father until I first understood. We pray this all the time. Forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. So basically we're saying, God, handle me when I do you wrong the same way I handle people when they do me wrong.
Exactly.
So the reason why I wasn't growing is because I couldn't elevate my perspective because I kept staying in that one place. When you elevate your perspective, you get an opportunity to see things from a 30,000-foot view. But when somebody hurts you, we like to stay in that one terrestrial place. And that's why when I would have dreams about my dad, I always looked up at him. I'm 6'4". My dad's 5'8".
Wow.
And with my dreams about dad, I was always looking up at him. You know why? Because I did not mature in my perspective because my forgiveness didn't let me grow.
That's right.
You got to let it go, forgive, so that you can grow.
That's right.
So that's some good stuff. So when we talk about relationships, dig into that, man, because there are some of us who want to be better husbands, better fathers, but that forgiveness has got us locked in, and we don't know how bad it is.
Oh, yeah. It's real tough, too, man. And it's a very slippery slope. It's tricky because the person wronged you. So in your mind, you feel justified to hang on to that, right? But it's interesting. And one of the we have African proverbs, right? Who better give an African proverb than African?
A Nigerian, right?
So one of the ones I often use is, brother, if I put a noose around your neck and I'm holding the other end in my hand, now it's not around my neck, but it's also around my neck. So we're both prisoners. So you wronged me. And because I feel justified in that wrong, now I'm holding you hostage.
Right.
So the noose is around your neck, but it's in my hand. So I have this false reality that I'm free and you're the one who's in prison.
Wow.
You get it?
But I'm attached to you.
But I'm attached to you. So if you can't go, I can't go. Matter of fact, everywhere you go, I go.
Wow.
So this is why I say forgiveness is not about them. It's about you.
Wow, man. Wow.
It's true, man.
So, when you forgave your father, and you did forgive your father,
absolutely.
What did that look like? Did the clouds open, the lightning strike? The God's like, "This is my beloved son."
It wasn't one of those.
Go ahead, play on you. How'd it happen?
It wasn't one of those, man. It's interesting because my brother, when it happened, man, the scene was really, it felt like something out of a movie, bro. My dad.
So your brother did go.
My brother did go. After that talk about my nephew,
he forgave his brother.
Oh, he totally said, "I'll go, but I can't promise you anything."
Okay, that's the first step.
Yeah, so we get there to the village at home. It's a big to-do because things like this don't happen in my culture at home for the most part. So we get there, it's a big to-do, the whole community. I'm talking about a couple hundred people, my family, uncles, aunts, cousins I never even met. Long story short, here comes the moment. So everybody kind of like parts and moves out of the way, and it's just my brother and I in the room. My dad walks in. He's a tall guy. He's like 6'2", almost your height, right? Wow. And as soon as he walks in, I felt my brother. I looked at him, and his fists are balled up. And so he's pacing back and forth, and I'm like, hey, calm down.
Wow.
Now, mind you, I'm focusing on him. And so my father does something that I was like, wow, this man has truly talked to God about this. He's remorseful. My father dropped to his knees and put his head on the floor and said, "Son, please forgive me."
Wait a minute.
Oh, man.
Wait a minute.
Brother. And it's crazy because seeing that moment, my brother sitting there with his fist balled up, sweating, crying, tears coming out his face, just wanting to fight, wanting to hit my dad, if you will. And my father on the floor in this extremely submissive position, and I'm standing next to him, and I'm looking, and I'm just like, oh, my gosh. I couldn't help it, man. Tears just started flowing down my eyes.
Yeah,
I'm like,
I'm not crying, you crying. Yeah.
Exactly. I'm thinking I'm looking out for him. But it was really impacting and affecting me. Wow, man. And so when they finished talking, man, it was just like, hey, Dad, listen, it's okay. I forgive you. I forgive you, man. I let it go. It's an amazing experience, man. Till this day, I pray for people to have that type of experience, whoever has hurt them. Because we all carry some baggage. Yeah.
So when you think about, let's talk about the 30,000-foot analogy again.
Sure.
You're not the same person that you were 20 years ago.
Not at all.
I know I'm not. But I had an opportunity to grow and change and learn.
Mm-hmm.
So if you hold a person at the point where they messed up, then you are forfeiting all of the growth that they had and all the things that you can learn from them because you don't want to see that. Let's talk about that because there are some there are some of us that hold pains from our youth that, quite frankly, it's the expiration date has been passed.
That's right.
So it's not so much I'm talking about how. I want to talk about the what. And the what is you need to let it go. And people say, I don't want to do it because it's hard.
Right.
I get it. We're not talking about how right now.
Right.
We're talking about making the decision. Like your brother said, I'm just going to go.
Right.
I can't promise you nothing,
right.
but I'm going to go.
That's right.
Make the decision to say, I got to let that go. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, I think a lot of people who don't forgive and don't let go in that way, if it happened at 25, they died at 25. They just didn't get buried till 70. You know what I'm saying?
Keep on with all these nuggets.
That's really what it is,
man.
brother. I mean, it comes down to that. And that's what we don't realize is that we died. You know the whole saying about unforgiveness is like drinking poison but expecting the other person to die.
I heard that.
Right? And anger is one letter short of danger.
Wow.
Right? I mean, these are all these little idioms, all these little sayings, they all mean something. But the problem with us is when it comes down to real life, we don't apply them. We want to go with our feelings. And again, nothing wrong with emotions and feelings. They guide us. They're there to help us. But they're kind of like a mirage too. They're not really, they're not really there, right? Because think about who you were mad at last week for doing something wrong. You still mad at them like, for that little thing they did?
Okay.
You let it go. So
Yeah.
So
That's
it's
some
really,
good stuff.
Yeah.
So so basically your anger should be it shouldn't be the thermometer.
Right.
Your anger should be the temperature.
Yes, it is.
Come on, Bo.
My man.
Wait a minute. Hold
Look
on,
at
Bo.
you.
How you put that on you like that? So your anger should be the temperature, not the thermometer, because you can control
Yes.
the thermometer.
That's right.
But if you let anger control you, the Bible says about anger rests in the bosom of a what? Fool.
Ooh.
It's in the bosom of fools.
Yeah.
So that's some good stuff, man. In developing relationships, I was reading an article about how human beings are made for relationships, for community, and that if we are not a part of community,
Right.
like real talk,
Right.
it makes us physically sick.
Sick.
Like psychologically,
Yeah.
like sick,
Yeah.
something wrong. That's one of the worst things you can do to a person that's incarcerated.
Yeah.
Is put them in solitary confinement.
That's right.
And prison industrial complex, they know that.
Yeah.
Which is why they punish you by putting you off to yourself.
Yeah.
So no matter how bad it is out there, no, I need to be around people.
That's right.
So, but a lot of us, when we get upset as men,
Right.
we do one thing, and that is get on isolation island.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that guy that says, I don't really need nobody.
Right. It's amazing, man, how we do that as men. And it's interesting. We never really think about the dualities of life. I always look at things like, no matter how thin you slice it, there's always two, right? God, devil, right?
Wow.
Up, down, in, out, woman, man.
Right, left, yeah.
Yeah, it's the same thing. And so as men, we're taught, hey, man up, as we say, right? Suck it up and get it done. But there's another side to that. We're humans with emotions. We have feelings, right? As you said, we're social beings.
Right.
And so we can't ignore that part of us as men. I had to struggle with this as well, growing up in my life. Because you're taught, hey, men don't cry, right? You're supposed to just deal with it and move forward.
Right.
But then I would look at my mom. If something went wrong, she let it out. And she's being healthy about it.
Wow.
They go to ladies, they go to the bathroom together. They got an issue. They work as a community.
Right.
It's kind of like ants, right? The ant can lift up something, I think it's 6 or 7 times its body weight. But when it works with its community, you see them, they're lifting up things that you're like, how they'd even do that? How's that possible?
Right.
So as men, a lot of times we go into our cave. And it's interesting because I always try to remind the ladies, look, if you want to find your man, you want to figure out what's going on with your husband, go to his cave. A lot of women don't realize that. So you'll have a guy, he likes football. And they're like, oh, I hate football. And then they never try to actually learn about football, go be with him when he's around football. In fact, a lot of extramarital relationships happen around men's hobbies, around men's caves.
Not mine, though, baby. Not mine, baby. No, not mine. When I'm watching football, whether you're there or not, just saying. But that makes sense, though.
It's true, brother.
And so, in your cave is where you have your brand of comfort.
Exactly.
Whether that's good, bad, or indifferent.
Or indifferent. That's right. That's
Man,
right.
you good. You see, you good. So I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm not no much about me. I'm saying that I'm sure there's some people who are sure that they don't necessarily want their wives in their cave.
In their cave.
So you saying go to the cave anyway? Just
Yeah.
go start searching around stuff?
The reason I say that is because if you think about it, the reason he probably doesn't want
Are
you
you
in his cave.
saying get in that cave clandestinely and start looking around and stuff? That's what you're saying?
No. You
Okay,
don't gotta be
good.
sneaking around.
Y'all
Don't be
said,
sneaking
y'all
around.
see, he didn't say go in the cave. Okay, I'm just saying. I wanted to be clear.
Yes,
Man
sir.
of God.
No,
Okay.
don't take that man keys under the carpet and go in his cave. Go
Right.
with them into the cave.
That's
you
right.
know?
Good.
Yeah. It's funny. We had a Facebook Live last night, my wife and I.
Oh.
And big shout out to my baby Belinda and the kids. But
What's up, Lady Belinda?
yeah, and so last night we were talking about this, and we were saying that a lot of times women want to get inside a man's heart, if you will, right? But there's this place, I call it like the volunteer room. It's the volunteer space. He doesn't have to tell you this part. So he'll go through the motions. He'll bring the money, take care of the kids, he'll take out the garbage, any bugs in the house, he'll take care of it. He'll do all the requirements. But there's this part of him that is voluntary. He doesn't have to let you in there.
Right.
And even if he doesn't, nothing's wrong with your marriage per se. But there's a level of intimacy. And when I say intimacy, I don't mean the regular spelling. I'm talking about into me see.
Yeah.
Right? There's a part of him that he won't let you have because he just doesn't feel safe with you. And a lot of times it's because the lady in his life hasn't given him that, right? Because sometimes they'll give him too much attitude, or they don't believe in him, or they chastise him for a mistake that he made, not realizing, hey, he's a human. He's allowed to make mistakes. Baby, your mouth is to, like God said in his word, is to build him up, to lift him up, right? Don't use your mouth to tear down your home.
Sure.
That's in the word.
Sure.
And so when you find a man who's always in his cave or doesn't want his woman to come into his cave, there's a reason for that. That's his voluntary space that he just doesn't feel safe with you on. But they blame the guy. And I say, no. It might not even be you, sis. It might have been the relationships before you that hurt him. And so because of that, he brings it in. He's like, I don't trust women like that. Oh, I don't want you in my space like that. Oh, I'll handle all my requirements. Wow. But my voluntary space, nah, you ain't getting that. That's for me.
Okay, listen, what you're not going to do, what you're not going to do is be around here telling my business on this. Man, this is good, man. This is so good.
Brother. Thank you, brother.
All right, so we're going to deal with a lot of this at Man Up Live this Saturday. Obi Ndu, I saw a couple of your videos, man. I didn't know you was this deep, bro. But you struck something, and I can really talk for another hour about that. But this Saturday, we're going to deal with that because there are guys that are locked up. Yeah. And I just tell you, man, like for me, my space is so sacred to me. And so for the longest time, my wife would be just salty about why I can't go in there. Because I don't want you in there. Right. Because sometimes I would I could have the rest of the house spotless. Right. But my space could be messy, could be cluttered, the whole nine. Yeah. And so even my car, sometimes, I say, hey, you can't drive it till I clean it. Let me clean it first. Right. My studio, I don't really want you in there unless I clean it. Right. And it's not that I think you're going to be offended by the dirt. Right. It's just, that's my dirt. Right. Dude, do you understand what I'm saying? I know you hear what I'm saying. That's mine. So it's about opening up and being more intimate. So for me, I'm becoming, what you said hit home because I'm getting better at that. But there are parts of me that's still closed down that I'm still repairing because I lived so many years, brother, not guarded and not allowing that part of me to be available because I don't know if you're going to hurt me, but you might. And so that part of me, it just ain't available. Now, you can get all the trinkets. You can get as much money as you want. You can take every bit I have. Just leave me a couple dollars and get a Happy Meal. Right. But that part of me that is voluntary that you say, it ain't available like that. It's becoming more and more available as I get closer to my wife. You know, but I've been married for 10 years, but just this last couple of years, it got better because forgiveness set in. Forgiveness set in. And I was able to be honest with myself about the reason why I wasn't, the reason why I didn't, and the reason why all of that is because of that forgiveness that was there.
That's exactly right, brother. I mean, if you think about a marriage, man, one of the things my wife and I believe about marriage is it's a place where two broken people come to get healed. It's one of the reasons why you're attracted to your opposite. Because if I'm a spender and she's a saver, then guess what? She's going to help me heal in that area, right? If I'm a smoker and she's not, she's going to help me heal in that area. So this is one of the reasons we believe like you're attracted to your opposites, because if both of you are the same, one of you is unnecessary.
Come on.
I mean, think about that for a second. You know, so I mean, think about it. My left hand and my right hand work well because they're opposing, but they work well together. What if I had two hands that were set up the exact same way? It would be very weird. It would look weird. Exactly.
Like, oh, there's the guy, the relationship expert with the thumb on the other hand. It's weird. Yeah. So this is good, man. So this Saturday, you're going to be at Man Up Live.
That's
I appreciate you, man. So what, just real quick, man, just let the guys know what they can expect when they come. Men exclusive, ladies. Y'all know y'all be trying to get in, but it's men exclusive. And we do that because we want guys to be transparent. The moment you put one woman in there, then we start fronting.
Yep.
We start acting like, you know, we won't become vulnerable.
Yep.
But this is a very safe space. Yep. And so what can they expect?
Well, honestly, it's honesty. It's authenticity. I really pride myself in allowing the Holy Spirit to use me. I do my best not to really prepare for things because it's already there, because I'm doing the work on me. It's real. You know what I'm saying? Wow. So I've been through challenges in my life. Every man has, every person has, every woman has. So for me, whenever I talk to men, it's always about coming from that space of authenticity. You know, hey, brother, yeah, I did do that. You know, here's what I still struggle with. As a matter of fact, you know, I think, like I said earlier, the ladies, when they have issues, they go to each other. Man, we're nomads. We move away from people when we have these situations. But what if we can have a Man Up Live when we come together? And that's why I love what you're doing, brother.
Thank you.
When I heard about the show, I was like, man, somebody else out here gets it. Wow. Because we don't have that place. Yeah. Where do men go to heal?
Exactly.
Right?
Where do men go to say ouch?
Yeah. I mean, you think about it all the time. You got people who get motivated by someone, but who motivates the motivator?
Wow.
Right? So the kids get fed by mommy. Mommy gets fed by the husband. Who does the husband go to?
Exactly.
Outside of God.
Exactly.
Right? So
There's
that's
places
what for
they
me,
just ain't
man.
really.
Oh yeah.
Where
we ain't going there.
Where we need to be at. When I came to Atlanta years ago, somebody said, "Have you been to Magic City?" I said, "What do they do? Magic tricks in there?" They said, "Yeah, pretty much."
Yeah.
Pretty much. But Obi, I appreciate you, man, and I'm looking forward to connecting with you, of course, this Saturday.
Yeah.
And just one final word of encouragement. Look right at that camera, man, and just talk to the guy that is listening to you or viewing you right now, who is on the verge of, he's by himself, and he wants to be better, but he don't really know how to take that next step to forge the relationships to be in that community.
Absolutely. Well, brother, let me say this. First of all, I'm proud of you because you're here. So you could have done some things or made some choices that some of the weaker brothers, I think, did, like take your life, and you're here. So you're already halfway to the finish line, if you will. But to get to the rest of it, brother, it just takes honesty. It's light. Look, I come from, like I said, Nigeria. When we moved here, I moved to New Jersey. And some places in New Jersey or New York, I'll be walking. They call New York the concrete jungle. Think about that for a second, the concrete jungle. I'm walking and I'm seeing a plant or a little, weed or something growing out of the concrete. And I think to myself, how in the world is that even possible? And here's what it is. It's that it moves towards the light. And that's the thing that I would say is when we talk about being authentic, you got to move towards the light. You got to shed light on what it is that is troubling you. And you have to do it with other men that you can feel safe with, that are going to give you feedback. It's not judgment. It's not about, punishment or condemnation. It's really just about, hey, man, fellas, I'm struggling with pornography, or I'm struggling with, integrity. I'm struggling with, abuse in some capacity. If you can be that honest about it, brother, man, you'll give permission to other men in that room that are going through the same thing but are being shy about it. So it's interesting how when we decide to rise up and grow through the concrete in our life, other people start showing up in that same capacity. So you're not alone, man.
Indeed. That's what's up.
Yeah.
Obi Ndu.
Yes, sir.
Come on, my Nigerian brother right there. It's the KD Bo Show. Thank you, brother. Hey, man, KD Bo here reminding you that the next Man Up Live is Saturday, July 20th from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. But why should you come? Well, according to the research, human beings were made for connection. And if we don't connect, it could literally make us sick. Hey man, you were never designed to go alone. I know you're strong, I believe it, but you were never designed to do this thing by yourself. So come out and connect with a few good men. Saturday, July 20th at New Life Community Center in Decatur. Looking forward to meeting you. All the info is on our website, mypraiseatl.com.